Welcome, my friends, to Cuentame USA from, this is Jose Camano. I'm back from my vacation. It's been a long vacation, a month. Imagine that, how many things I had to do in a month. I'm not gonna tell you. So I'm back, and this is my first interview, and nothing better than to speak with these two people, these two guys. I have two people. They belong to a really great band from Utah, and they play really good prog music, some metal, all mixed with metal and neo prog. I don't know what to call it. I mean, it's all good.
I like
So
neo
We're kind of
neo
all over the
prog.
place.
it's all good.
Yeah,
So we have. I'll start with Grant Matheson. Is that how
yeah.
you say it?
Matheson. Yep.
Matheson. He plays the guitar. I think he also plays some keys if it's needed and vocals a little
A
bit.
little bit live. Yeah, I
A
play
little
some
bit. Yeah, a
keys.
little bit.
I
Yeah,
mostly do guitar and vocals though.
yeah. And then we have this other guy, which is I seen him before on YouTube and many other places. He's really good. It's this singer and guitarist. His name is Riley McDonald,
That's
and
me.
the band is called Advent Horizon.
Yes, it
So,
is.
and their latest the latest album is called Falling Together. It came out in I think May 2026. So a couple
Mhm.
months
Mhm.
ago, not that long ago.
Yeah.
And I can say that it's a really good album. And that's the first album I ever listened from these people, which I have to be sincere. I only started to recognize these people, like, I don't know, maybe 4 months ago. Yeah.
Right on.
Well,
Great,
that's
great.
Glad to have a new
that's great though,
fan.
man. It means that the word is spreading about our music. If you're
Yeah,
finding
it's,
us, hopefully other people are finding us too. We're excited about
yeah.
that.
I don't know how I find you, probably Instagram, I think. I'm not sure because,
Could be.
it could be. So it was a really great surprise for me to find you guys. And
Nice. Well, thank you.
so I just first thing I want to know is you're based in Utah. Is it Advent or Midbell? What is it? Midbell,
We're
Utah?
in various parts of Salt Lake City. So
Okay,
some of us live, like I live in Taylorsville,
okay.
Utah, which is just a suburb of Salt Lake. So we all live in various parts there. And then our keyboard player, who we just took on recently, Jared, he lives in North Carolina.
Oh,
Yeah. So
hmm.
we're all here except for him. He's out in North Carolina.
And we got the female vocalist, Kristen,
Kristen.
Hmm.
which
Yeah.
there are a couple of songs that I really came to my mind from the previous album. There's like a very melodic song that she sings. I will talk about that.
There was. It could be your flaws, and it could
Your
be truth.
flaws. Your
Yeah.
Your
flaws.
flaws, yeah.
That's the
Or
one.
truth. She sings a lot on truth as well.
Yeah. But that one
Yeah.
is the one that, well, it's a great album, the latest one. I'm not going to say the previous ones are bad or are really not as good, but this one is different. I don't know. It's more dense, more heavy. I don't know.
Oh,
Still melodic, but I love the lyrics from all those albums.
Thanks.
this album definitely comes from it was built out of personal experience for
Hmm.
me. It's kind of a a personal reflection on where I've been in my life over the last decade. And so it's very personal for me. And I think that comes across in the lyrics. It seems like people are really picking up on that,
Hmm.
which I'm excited about. I love that we have an album that is very personal to us, and it's not just to me. It's telling my story, but it's very relatable to the other band members. I think all of us have gone through a similar faith crisis at different points in our lives. And so this is it's kind of something that's representative of all of us as a group, and it's been cool to connect with other people around the world as other people are realizing how personal this is to us and relating it to their own lives. It's been really cool to see that community growing.
Hmm. You're talking about religion. Did it play a big part in your early days, in your youth? Religion. It was to do, for what I read, you're talking about the Church of Latter Day Saints. Is that
That's right.
it's a big organization with different
It's a
organizations.
huge, yeah, it's a huge
Huge.
organization. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, Mormonism.
Right.
Same thing as the Mormons. And yeah, we both Riley and I grew up LDS or Mormon.
Right.
And well, I'll let Riley speak to how it as far as religion with the album, but I grew up very religious, including
Mm.
that's es por eso que hablo español, que servía una misión en
Oh,
La Ciudad de Mexico. I was in Mexico City
oh,
doing Mormon stuff,
right.
being a missionary,
Oh, okay.
and then both Riley and I, in different ways and at very different times, sort of left the church. Not sort of, we left the church,
Right.
and for me, it was a very liberating experience. And
Mm.
so, what this album for me says is like kind of walks through the experience of being in this religiosity, this religious environment, and
Hmm.
feeling very obligated to do things, be a certain way, talk a certain way, say certain things, don't say certain things.
Right.
You know, this is what masculinity looks like. This is what femininity looks like. This is what a relationship should look like. And then as you get kind of towards the end of the album, it's this
Yeah.
release of, we no longer have to be held to this. But I think that's how I interpret it, and I think other people can interpret it in different ways as well. There's some lyrics that are pretty straightforward, but there's also some lyrics that are more
Yeah.
vague and left up to the interpretation of the listener.
Right.
And including there was a Christian rock and Christian metal publication that reviewed this album in depth, and they recommended it for people who are still strong in their Christian faith to listen
Hmm.
to it and challenge their current beliefs and challenge the way they think about God and Christianity in general, and not necessarily to leave their faith, but to just challenge our own beliefs. And Riley, I think you should chime in here about like
Yeah.
how that affected how you wrote most of the music, because Riley's the main songwriter here.
Yes. For what I seen, he's the main songwriter. I don't know if when you write a song or when you have something written down, you show to I don't know, maybe to Grant or what he thinks about it, or if there are things that he thinks they're not, you're not expressing the way you think you are, or maybe you should change some verses and stuff. Or everything
Yeah,
is in.
there's definitely a collaborative process that goes on. So normally I will write the basis of each song, the kind of the foundation of the song,
Hmm.
and then once that's written, I'll share it with the rest of the band, and different members will have different input in different areas. I found that Mike tends to have more input as to the overall structure of the song,
And Mike is
and
our drummer, by the way.
yeah, sorry. So
Mike
Mike
Lofgren,
will,
yeah, okay.
yes, he'll listen and he'll give input about like, hey, I think this chorus needs to be doubled, or I think there needs to be another guitar riff that ties these two sections of the song together. He has more like general arrangement ideas,
Okay.
and then he also is very good at telling me when pieces of the song don't fit and need to be removed
Hmm.
or things need to be expanded, kind of big picture things like that.
Hmm.
I found that Kaysen and Grant are both very good at giving specific input into specific things. So Grant will have like specific lyrical passages that he feels like don't convey the message of the song, and so Grant will suggest alternative lyrics in those sections. Or
Okay.
Kaysen will have there will be a bass guitar part that I play, and he suggests that we change it just slightly so that it matches the kick drum pattern more. Very kind of fine tuning stuff comes from
Yeah.
those guys.
Detail
Uh,
stuff.
yeah, the
Yeah.
details, and so it's really good actually. I feel like everybody has kind of their place in the creative process at this
Hmm.
point, and it puts us in a position where we don't end up disagreeing very often on things. We tend to work very smoothly and fluidly
Right.
together, and everybody kind of knows what their place in the process is. That doesn't mean that it's perfect. Like there's definitely times where we have differing opinions and we kind of have to battle back and forth and discuss it,
Right.
usually cooler heads prevail and we end up finding like a happy medium that we can work with.
Hmm. I was
But
gonna go ahead. Yeah.
as far as the subject matter of the album goes, what I would like to get across with this album is just simply that I think it's important for everybody at some point in their lives, and maybe even like at various points throughout their life, it's important for all of us to reflect on the beliefs that we hold and whether they were things that we came to of our own of our own methods through our own experience, or whether
Hmm.
they're beliefs that were planted in our minds when we were young and impressionable that we've kind of just taken for granted and run with. I think it's important for all of us to decide whether we truly believe the things that we're living by.
Mm. I was gonna ask you regarding when the band was formed. For what I read, it was in 2008. You and your friend Mike.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, were you into religion at that time, or that you were living religion the way you thought? If or what you
Yeah,
were still.
so earlier on in life, I was religious up until 2017-ish.
Okay.
So yes, when this band started, I was still an active member of the Mormon Church. I was in high school at the time. Mike was not active. Mike was born into the Mormon Church, but he left. He kind of never really cared a whole lot about it. He was officially
No,
out of the
Mike's
church by the
always
time he
done his
was.
own thing.
Yeah, he was probably, by the time he was 12 or 13, I think his parents realized that they were not going to get anywhere with trying to force him to keep going to church.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, for me at that point, I was still active and kind of just living the path that had been set out for me up to that point, going to
Yeah.
church, reading the scriptures, saying my prayers, doing all the things that a young Mormon person is told that they're supposed to do.
Right.
And I never really questioned it a whole lot. I didn't really have a reason to. There wasn't anything in my life
But you felt
that,
comfortable, and
yeah, it was easy
yeah,
because especially when you live in Utah,
yeah.
you're surrounded by Mormons. Like in Utah, especially like 20 years ago, the
Right.
vast majority of the population of Utah at that point was Mormon. Out of all the kids that I knew in my school, almost all of them were also Mormon. So it was kind of just easier to continue down that path, right?
I
And it's
understand.
only later in life when I started, it was really through music, honestly, that I started questioning things because as a musician, we spend a lot of time traveling. We've played all over the country, even a
Yeah.
little bit outside of the United States. And as you start meeting people from different walks of life, from different cultures and different, religious ideologies, you meet people from all over the world
Right.
who are wonderful, amazing people, but hold such incredibly different beliefs to
Of
what I had
course.
grown up with. And there's this disconnect where when
Yes.
you're meeting all these people as a young Mormon person, you're taught to believe that you have the true message of God and
Right.
nobody else has it.
Yes. Yes.
But it's hard to reconcile that
Hmm.
with these, like, it's hard to meet this amazing person and think this person doesn't have the truth. They're probably going to go to hell. Like, it's just a weird
Yeah.
disconnect to have,
It makes sense. Even makes
So,
sense in politics
no, for
nowadays.
sure, for
They
sure.
think some
Political thing.
people
This
think they
is
have the right ideas, and the other people are no good. Uh,
You're right. And I think there's a quote from Mark Twain that really stuck out to me. And I'm probably not quoting this exactly correctly, but it's something to the effect of the ultimate enemy of prejudice is travel, or
yes.
something like
I
that, where
I
like
I read that.
it's impossible to travel and experience the whole
Yes.
world and still
Yes.
hold negative feelings towards unfamiliar people.
Yeah.
Like once things become familiar, they're no longer scary and evil to you.
Yeah. You got to see the world. You cannot
Yep.
just be in a box.
Yep.
I have a little story I want to share.
Yeah. Go ahead. Sure.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Greg. What happened? He froze.
Oh, Grant, are you
Oh.
there?
Yeah,
Okay.
sorry, can you hear me now?
I can
Yes.
hear you.
Yes. Go
Yep.
ahead.
Okay, I have a story to share.
Go ahead. Oh, you froze again.
Grant.
So, oh no, I keep
Oh,
cutting out.
okay, I think you're back
They
now.
don't. Nobody wants to hear it. Maybe.
Yeah, apparently Google
No.
doesn't
No.
want me to.
So
Yeah.
you can start talking, but don't say the words "I have a story to share" because every time you've said that, it's
Okay,
frozen.
I won't. So the way I heard it, Riley was actually going to go on to serve a Mormon mission like I was. So at like 19 or 8, well now it's 18, you go and for 2 years you go to another country.
Yeah.
And he actually got like assigned to was it Argentina, I
Yeah,
think.
it was
He was
Argentina.
going to be a Spanish speaker too.
Oh.
And the way that Mike and it wasn't Kaysen at the time. I think you guys had a different bass player.
Yes, that
Um
was with Sam at the time. Yeah.
Sam, yeah. like they were like, man, Riley's gonna leave us for 2 years, and like, what are we gonna do with the band? And the band can't really exist. The band cannot exist without Riley. I mean, Advent Horizon is Riley, and now, you know,
Right.
we've built on that, but it's all
Of course.
Riley's at the core of this. And one day he shows up at band practice, and they're just like playing, and I don't know if that you guys played a set and then stopped, or right before you started, Mike was like, why are we even doing this, dude? Like, why are we even here? And
Mm.
Riley, you were like, oh no, I'm not going. I'm gonna do this instead. Like
Well,
you got the assignment,
you change your mind.
and then like you didn't tell them until band practice, and you were like, oh no, I'm doing this. This is more important to me.
Wow.
And like I think that really was a good choice because, I mean, in the grand scheme of things, we've been together as a band for what, 15 years now. 2 years out of
Yeah.
that 15 would be fine. But it
Yeah.
was still a pretty critical time because I remember coming back from mine and being like, whoa, Riley, your voice has improved like crazy. Like your guitar skills have gotten better. The performance overall is better. The songs you guys were writing were better. So it was kind of a critical moment where Riley really chose in. And like he was still a practicing Mormon for quite a while
Hmm.
after that.
Hmm.
But I think, I don't know, I just thought that story was kind of
Yeah.
funny and
It's an
applicable
interesting
right now.
story. I
Yeah.
totally forgot about that. But you're
Well,
right. I now that you're saying it, it brought up the memory. I do remember that band practice where
Yeah.
Mike kind of just shut down and like didn't want to play anymore. And
wow.
I don't remember why I hadn't told them that I wasn't going. I don't, it
That's
could have
very
been
you. You're
just one of
like,
those.
I
Well,
have decided. Now this is the plan. Everyone
well,
knows.
yeah, you know how I tend to be where like I set forth a plan in my mind, and then sometimes I just assume that everybody else knows that plan without actually effectively communicating it. And that could be just the early version of that. I don't know. I don't know, man.
Oh, well, that's very interesting.
Uh,
Well, I have a little story myself because religion never play a part of my growing up because I live with my grandparents and my grandmother was very religious. We would go to church every morning. My grandfather was just the opposite. He hated religion. He was very an atheist. So I don't know how they got along. Well, they didn't get along too well anyway. But it never played a big part. If I went to church, I was forced to go.
mhm.
My grandmother forced me to go, but I didn't want to go. And it's in a small town in Spain. Everybody's, the church was very important at
Everything,
those
yeah.
times. So if you didn't go to church, the neighbors will be, why he's not going to church?
Yeah, yeah.
You know. So for me, I was never play a big part. I guess my grandfather was the one that pushed me into other religion from the beginning. But he used to go to church just to listen to the choir. That's all he
Mm.
cared about because he loved the way they sang. So after they were done, that he would leave. He didn't care about anybody. So he always was into music a lot, and operas and stuff. So I was listening to all that kind of music, opera, and
Mm.
and it was something that I didn't really enjoy at the beginning, but I really loved it because he was into it and reading books and stuff. But where am I going with this? Is that music started to play a big part on my growing up, but my cousins were living in the United States. I was living in Spain. But when they came vacation into Spain, they brought a lot of cassettes from the US.
Oh,
Mm.
okay.
So besides listening to the music I was listening to, they brought a bunch of cassettes in 1978. I'm going a little, maybe it has to do with your music anyway. So they brought me cassettes, and I have no idea who they were. But he told me, listen to this, maybe you like them. So he gave me, that went in my head, so I remember everything. He gave me four cassettes to listen to. One of them was Styx, The Grand
Mm.
Illusion.
Oh, such
I
a good
have
album.
I had no idea who they were. I just looked
Yeah.
at it.
You just knew the music.
I had the radio cassette. I said, let's see how it sounds. I
Yep.
don't know. I don't know them. I don't know English. I don't know what they're talking about. Whatever. I really enjoyed that album,
Yeah.
really a lot. Then he gave me Foreigner. You know,
Mm-hmm.
the song when it closes eyes, it feels like the first time, that
Yep.
album. I listened to it. I really enjoyed it. I love more the one that sticks. Then he gave me also Kiss, Destroyer. I have
Mm.
no
Cool.
idea who they are. Those guys all, with the masks and painted faces.
Face paint.
It
Yeah.
was like crazy for me. I never seen a band like that. But then he gave me another one, and I leave this for last. A Farewell to Kings by
Oh
Rush.
yeah.
That's what I'm saying. So I listened to that cassette more than the other three.
Hmm.
And I listened to Xanadu and Closer to the Heart, but because it was a cassette, I just kept rewinding that stupid song. It drove me crazy because it was so short,
Yep.
like 2 minutes. I don't remember how
It's
long.
yeah, not
And
quite
I
three
really
minutes, I think.
loved it. And I had to just rewind and play. That was my favorite album of all. That's when I
Oh,
started listening to Rush because I had no idea who they were. I didn't know they were from Canada or where they were from Australia. I don't know who they were. But that was one of my favorite bands at that time after I listened to them, and I stole his cassette. I never gave it back to him. I waited for him to
nice.
go back to the US. He never found me, and I kept the cassette. I was a bad boy.
Nice.
Oh man.
That's awesome.
That's an amazing introduction to Rush too, because you said
Yeah.
this was 1978,
78,
right?
70. I think
This
that
was
album might be 77, if I remember,
yeah, it's
maybe.
76, 77, somewhere
Yeah.
around there. So the album was new at that point. This was
Yes.
new cutting edge rock and roll music from North America that you were getting into.
Right.
Can only imagine how exciting that must have been.
It
And
was,
man, to hear Grand Illusion and Farewell to Kings, those two
Yes.
records are, I mean, those are hugely influential to me also as a
Yeah,
songwriter. So
he got
very cool.
my cousin had a really good taste in music, I guess, good taste because
Yeah, it sounds like it.
he brought the cassettes, but I already knew about Black Sabbath and all those bands, Rainbow
Mhm.
and everything. I knew all those bands and Yes and Jethro Tull, all those I was listening in Spain, but those four
Right.
bands I never had any idea who they
Well,
were.
but
You knew
those
about Jethro Tull, but not Rush. That's
No,
really interesting.
after I got into Rush, then I was checking all the Spanish rock magazines.
Hmm.
And I saw Rush. They were playing someplace. I don't remember where, but I remember Geddy Lee's face. What? And that was, first time I see him on a magazine. I'm like,
Well, I
oh, this
wonder
is
if
Rush.
there's something to do there with all of the bands that you mentioned, Black Sabbath, Jethro Tull, all these guys, these are all European bands. They're
Yes,
mostly British,
right,
whereas all the bands that your cousin brought over, they're all North American bands. And maybe
right.
growing up in Spain, you just weren't exposed to that
I wasn't.
American,
I
North
wasn't.
American music.
I wasn't. No, I know about American bands. But the
Mhm.
usual Bob Dylan. Everybody knows Bob
Yeah,
Dylan.
yeah,
Like
the big
yeah,
like pop
The big,
icons.
yeah. But all those bands, they were like new to me.
Interesting.
so
But yeah,
cool.
then when I came to the United States, I went crazy with Rush. I brought the 2112 vinyl. I started buying vinyl because I had a record player, and then
Right.
Permanent Waves, Careless of Steel, everything. And then when I'm telling you this instead of talking about the band, I don't know what
Oh,
to say.
dude, I'll talk about
Yeah,
Rush all day.
then I came to the U.S. My first band I ever saw at Madison Square Garden was Jethro Tull,
Very
Yeah.
cool.
1980.
Awesome. Awesome.
Nice.
So, but then when I went back to Spain on vacation, now I was the one coming from the US on vacation, to Spain, just the
Hmm.
opposite. And I brought all my moving pictures cassette,
Mhm.
Hmm.
81. I was playing that on the beach, like to show everybody, listen to this. This is great. This is.
And then you gave it to your younger
Yeah,
cousin, and the cycle
yeah. So I was
continues.
passing all my music from the US to them, to all the people. So
Amazing.
that was amazing. I don't know. It's just sorry, but I know Rush play a big part in in your taste for music. I guess I think your family has a lot to do also with your music taste. Also, Riley. I don't know about
Definitely.
Grant, but
Hmm.
because Grant, were you born in New Jersey or you lived here
No,
for
I
a
was
couple
actually
years?
born in Utah, and then
Okay,
we moved to New Jersey when I was in middle school. So I lived there for 3 years, and then I lived, and then we moved. Actually, sorry, it was Utah, California, Jersey, back to Utah.
okay. So
Yeah.
tell me about your music. How do you just start? You
For
started,
me?
yeah, like growing up
Yeah,
listening.
so I mean, growing up religious, right? Like a lot of us musicians who grew up in some sort of church, like you start singing in church. It's like a really common thing,
Mm,
right? At least here in the US, there's a lot of
right.
singing. If you're any sort of like Protestant-based religion, which Mormonism really stems off of Protestantism, there's a lot
Mm,
of like music and the congregation sings and all that stuff. Um, so yeah, I started that way, and my mom was a singer. She
mm.
was a musical theater major at Brigham Young University,
Oh,
and
really?
then my dad was into musical theater and other things as well. So he was a pretty good singer. And like I said, we always sing at church. But then I remember like one of my core memories when I was in elementary school, my sister, who also was a good singer, and like, growing up was like, Grant, you have like a naturally good voice. Like you should sing more. And like that just like stuck with me. It was almost like she gave me this label as a
Mm,
singer that I really liked. Not like I know like labels sometimes is a bad thing, but it was like this thing, it was like an identity thing for me. And
mm,
so two of my buddies, let's see, yeah, one of my buddies was like learning to play guitar. This is like the third grade. Okay, so I'm like 10,
mm,
9 or 10. And one of my buddies was learning to play guitar. Another one also learned guitar. Another one was like, well, I guess I'll learn bass. And then a fourth one was like, my mom bought me a drum kit. So like we formed a really shitty little band and
yeah.
we were called Burnin' Fish. It was the worst. We were absolutely awful, but like the school, because our school was like this hippy dippy California, like do like extracurricular alternative schooling stuff. They were like, your little band should play for like our graduation each year at elementary school. Like we went through the grades with all the same kids. And so like that was my first experience on stage when I was in the third grade. And then fourth grade, we did another performance, and then fifth grade, and then I think even up till sixth grade. So I
Mm,
had like those early opportunities to like sing and get the crowd going. And I think personally, my skills as a musician shine a little bit more as a frontman than they do as a guitarist. Riley, the only reason I'm as good as at guitar as I am now, which is like maybe 50% of the way there to where Riley is because of Riley. Because
well,
he's
Bradley
like,
is
hey, I
a
wrote this
machine gun.
monster. Yeah.
It's really
He's
good.
like, I wrote this monster riff that Van Halen would do, like something crazy. And then he's like, could you just play it right here? Because I have to be doing this other crazy thing called a guitar solo where I'm like tapping and bending and I'm like, oh my God, Riley, what are you having me do?
You're
So
welcome.
anyway, yeah. So I'm glad on this album I'm singing a little bit more, but I also appreciate the challenge of being better at guitar too.
Yeah.
So
Well,
anyway, long
I
story short,
listened to the
yeah.
albums, all the albums that I was able to find. But to be sincere, I didn't listen to the whole album, the Falling Together. There were a couple songs that I couldn't get. Uh,
Yeah, it's
uh,
still we're still releasing it.
was it Animals,
Gravity,
Animals and
part one
Gravity
and
Gravity,
two.
1 and
probably.
2? I didn't
Mhm.
listen to those.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
so we're doing a kind of a hybrid release strategy. The full album is out right now on like if you want to buy it on CD or vinyl or go to Bandcamp and purchase it, you can get the full album that way right now. But for streaming services, Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube, all of those places,
yes.
we are releasing one song per month until mid-August. So as of mid-August, the full album will be out at that point. But
Mm,
that makes sense. That's why you were not able to find those tracks for the time
right.
being. But we're close. We're about a month out now from having the full thing out on streaming services, which will be nice.
Yeah, I'll be waiting for that because I listened to the songs that were available. I think Deezer. That's what I heard it.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Deezer. I think Deezer was Deezer. Yeah, I think that's Deezer.
Yeah, that makes sense. Deezer's a
Yeah,
good place. You can get high quality
yeah.
streaming
That's
there,
what I
and
listen.
they're a little more ethical than Spotify, I would say.
Yeah, I started listening to Spotify years back, but I gave up.
Yep. I appreciate you listening on a better platform,
Yeah,
but unfortunately, the way that the world is, everybody's on Spotify, and so it's what we have to focus on as an
I
artist.
understand. I understand how the music business is. I don't know.
Yep.
Well, let me listen. I was like listening to that 19-minute song. Uh, that brought me back to all those albums with only two songs. But,
Right.
that epic song, I guess we could say, in a long and dreary world. That's
Mhm.
I really enjoyed that one. I really did. I know it's the first one, it's the longest one of the album,
Mhm.
but it brought me back to the past, I guess, when you would listen to a vinyl for one song in each side. So
Right. Well, I've always been I mean, since I was a kid and my parents were introducing me to music, I've always been a huge fan of epics.
mm,
2112,
right.
Hemispheres, Close to the Edge by Yes. There's so many examples.
Yeah.
And as a songwriter, it's a daunting task to write an epic song.
Yes.
It's not too hard to write a song that's maybe 7, 8 minutes long, but once you get past 8 minutes, it's really difficult to write a song that is engaging and doesn't allow the listener's attention to wander too much.
Right.
And so that it was a challenge that I've kind of always wanted to do and have been shy and afraid of doing until this album. It felt right. It felt natural. I don't think there was ever a point where I said, I want to write an epic song for this album. It kind of came about organically where we had all of these pieces that were written that were all in the same key, close
Hmm.
enough to the same tempo, and they all fit together nicely. And once I put it all together, I realized, oh my gosh, this is already going to be 12, 13 minutes long. And then we just started adding in the little segments and transition sections
Right.
in between all the pieces, and it turned into this 19-minute thing. I'm really proud of how
I
that
think
song
it
turned
is a
out.
great
It
song.
was
Was it longer and you had to cut it, or it more or less blended?
So there are, I want to say, somewhere around 20 different versions of the song that
Okay.
exist.
Okay.
I
And
didn't know it was
some of
that
them,
many.
yeah, so there, I think the final demo was like demo V20 or V19 or something like that.
Whoa.
Some of the versions are like 9, 10 minutes long, and then there are a couple of versions that were like 21 or 22 minutes long.
Hmm.
And the happy medium ended up being at that 19-minute mark because we cut out the extra stuff that was getting boring and getting a little bit too rambly,
Yeah.
but we were able to retain a lot of the really interesting, impactful pieces of the song.
Hmm.
But yeah, it's there was a little bit of time where I was like, oh my gosh, are we gonna have a 22-minute long song on this album? No, it ended up being better as a 19-minute song.
Well,
I
it's a
remember
great song.
yeah, we reached that point where it was like 21 minutes, and I was like, okay, cut this, cut that, cut this last one, and then you guys cut it out, and then we got maybe down to like 17, and we listened to it, and you were like, no, I have to put this one. I don't remember exactly what part it is in,
It
probably like
was
the
the
Yeah.
fourth.
part after the second chorus, the instrumental crazy genty section.
Yeah, do 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 do
Yeah,
do
me and
do.
Mike really, really wanted to have that section, and Grant, you were
Yeah.
like, I mean, it's cool, but it doesn't feel like it's really doing much for the song. So there was a little bit of back and forth
There was
about it.
back and forth.
But the argument from Mike that ended all the arguments was Mike said, "Wait, guys, remember, cool shit is cool shit. It doesn't necessarily have to have a specific purpose within the song. If it's a cool riff, just put it in there." And it was a cool riff. So we put it back in, and I think it was a good choice. I think it worked out. I definitely understood your reasoning behind being like
Yeah, and
it
I'm not mad about it being in there anymore. Like I'm used to it, and I think it works.
plus you
I
get to
think it
play a very cool organ part over it.
yeah, which
Is
like
that
Jared is
you?
now
Okay.
taking.
That
Oh
was you.
yeah.
Well, live, yeah. I didn't record it, but I mean, I could have. It's just like a couple chords, but it's I like it now, and I'm okay with it now because it comes back to like
Mhm.
to earth. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
to the center of what it's supposed to be, of the hook and
Yes.
the repetition, but it still innovates on those themes, and
Yeah.
that's what
Yeah.
I'm looking for as a listener. Because
Yes.
I approach these often as like, okay, what are our listeners going to think, and what do I want to hear right here? And
Yeah.
so anyway,
I mean, it was a big surprise for me. Most people enjoy surprises. For me, it was a surprise how long it was. But
Mhm.
like you said, I was waiting for the hook to come back so I could remember how
Mhm.
the hook. It's like a package, you know. I don't know how to say, but I
Yeah.
love those blanket of sounds and the dance music, the layered sounds, and the
Well, when
vocal.
you get to the end of an epic track and
Yeah.
they manage to find a way to take you on an adventure, a journey that goes so
Yeah.
far away from where the song started that
Yes.
you as a listener are going, "Oh my God, how are they ever going to bring this back? How are they
Right. I'm
ever going to
waiting
find
for
a way
a
to
how is it
naturally?"
gonna end? I'm like,
And
how
I
is it
mean
gonna
the
end
Yeah.
the
best
song?
example I can think
Yeah.
of that personally is Close to the Edge, where it goes
Yeah.
off in the middle section and it's in a whole other world, but then
Right.
they bring it back to the whole like seasons will pass you by, get up. When it gets back to that last chorus,
Yes.
Goodbye.
it's like the most powerful
Right.
moment. Like I can't think off the top of my head of a more powerful moment in any song ever
Yeah.
than that moment right there. And that was an impactful thing for me in writing this song. I wanted to, not that I'm claiming that In Alone in Dreary World is anywhere close to as powerful as that moment in Close to the Edge, But my goal was to do that, to take the listener on an adventure, bring them to a different world, and then push them back to the original
Right,
chorus and
right.
give, like, I want people to feel goosebumps when it gets back to that original chorus.
Yes. Well, you did a good job, let me tell you,
Yes.
especially for me.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Yes, yes.
Glad to hear that.
And there are other songs that I enjoy, Past Life Parable. That's also I enjoy all of them. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you guys. I don't know. Like I said, the whole band was a surprise for me. Uh, I went back and listened to the 2023 album,
Still to call
I
home.
Had to
Yeah.
Go Home, and there are really beautiful songs there. Uh, a lot of collaborations, a lot of people
Mm-hmm.
appear on that album and guest appearances, and I really enjoyed that one too. But I don't know. I don't know. This latest one is different, I guess.
Yeah. That
But I
seems to
really,
be general feedback. People
yes,
people
I
say that.
know.
Yeah. I like it.
Stagehound. Also, I listen to Stagehound. There are songs that I really enjoy there. Serpentine. There are so many things in your music that we'll be talking about for many hours. There are songs that I really enjoy, like Your Flaws, because those
Mm.
beautiful vocals that for me is crazy. It's
Mm.
Rain on Open Water from the previous for that album. Also, it's a lot of songs that I don't know. How old were you, Riley, when you made your first album? Is it Immured in
Immured.
2000?
Yeah.
How old were you at that time?
Uh, so most of the songs from that album were written when Mike and I were between 15 and 18 years old. And
Okay.
then we recorded and released the album when we were 19.
Oh, okay. And Greg, when did you come into the band? Because that project was the two of you,
Yeah,
right?
I came in
Right after Stagehound.
2015. Yeah, right
Okay.
after Stagehound, around 2015, 2016 area. I'm pretty sure it
Mm.
was October. Was it 2015, Riley? It must have been
Yes, because
Well,
Stagehound
2015.
came out in May. We played a bunch of gigs with our old bandmate Benny throughout that summer. And
Yeah.
then Benny officially left the band at the end of the summer, and then you stepped in.
okay. So
Yeah.
how did you step in? Did somebody call you, or you called them, or did you
No,
guys know each
so
other previously? How did?
yeah, we knew each other previously. So Kaysen Wood, who's our bass player and also like wrote basically all of the keyboards on this previous album or on
Mm,
this current album.
mm,
He was a bass player in my band. Like I met him at high school. So me and him went to the same high school. Riley and Mike went to the different high school together.
mm,
And so I knew Kaysen. We played in a band together. Advent Horizon, as it was, played in a battle of the bands with mine and Kaysen's band. And then so that's how we connected. And then we reached out to them. We threw like a party in the park, like neighborhood show where we just
mm,
like brought our own PA and like set up at a random park. And we invited Riley and Mike and Sam, who was the bassist at the time, to
mm,
play. And I remember seeing in particular Mike, and I was like, damn, that drummer is good. Like he is really good. Like they're all amazing, but like I was like pretty blown away with their skill level. They won that battle of the bands, by the way. We did not. Kaysen and Mike start hanging out. They realize they're birds of a feather. They like all the same stuff. They're nerds in the same way. They're the rhythm section. Like it just worked out. So they start hanging out a lot more. And then when Sam left the band during Immured, right? I think that's when Kaysen
Yeah, it
joined.
was it was right around when we released Immured. Yep.
Yeah. So then I had that loose connection through Kaysen.
mm,
Fast forward, I go on my mission to Mexico City, like I mentioned before. I come back. I'm really interested in audio engineering. I have been since junior year of high school. So I wanted to like record music, make
mm,
music, write music, play music, all of the things. I wanted it to be my whole life. So I went to a show because I heard Advent is playing and Kaysen's there. Like I'm going to reconnect with these guys because I'm back and I'm trying to figure out my life. I
mm,
go see a show. I'm like, whoa, you guys are so much better than I remember. And this is awesome. And they had just released Stagehound. And I was like, Riley, I would love to I'm trying to get into live sound, like mixing and stuff like that. So like, could I help you guys out? Because you don't have a sound guy. And he was
mm,
like, sure, I can't really pay you at first, but I was like, I don't care. I'll just like learn as we go. We'll learn together. And so we built that relationship. I would come on trips with them. We started
mm.
getting really close. And then I think I was your sound guy. It must have been another year and a half to 2 years. And then Benny was like, hey, I'm moving to Colorado to be with this girl, basically. And like I remember we were at a wing spot, like getting wings, And Benny was like, I'm leaving the band. And like my heart started pounding. I was like, holy shit, this is my chance. Because I idolize these guys as far as like musicianship goes. Like we were all
Mm.
buddies and stuff and like
Right, right.
peers, but I still like, you know, they were, I really wanted to be a part of the actual music. And so we go to the parking lot, everyone says goodbye. Mike and Casey go to their car, Benny leaves. Me and Riley are there, like, chit-chatting, and I'm like, so would you consider me to
Mm.
replace Benny? And he was like, I thought about it. I would consider it, but your guitar skills need to be much better.
Wow. Is that what you said, Riley?
Yeah, it
Something
is.
like that.
It
Yeah,
is.
okay.
And I was like, I'll do it. I'll learn it. He's like, if you can prove to me an audition that your guitar, because like what Riley knew, what he saw in me, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, was like the vibes. The vibes were there. I could hang with them, which is super important when you're in a band and you're on the road and you're like in the DIY phase. And, at the time we were both Mormon, so we had the same value set, which
Mm.
was the thing. And then we eventually obviously left the church like we talked about before, but
Right.
that doesn't matter for this story. And then um so he was like, I do want you in the band, but you gotta meet me where you gotta get up to our level. So
Right.
I played my heart out. I practiced so hard. I remember I was in my basement, I set up a little mic stand and I was playing along to the music and I spent so many hours learning it. And then we had like a couple practices and then like an audition show at like Fats Bar and Grill,
Yeah,
which
it
was
was
in
a
Sugar
fat
House,
show.
Utah, which is now demolished and it's something different. And then we had another show in Richfield, Utah, which is like central Utah area. And I think there was a third show, but by the Richfield show, which was in October, it was the Rocktober in the park in Richfield. Yeah.
Mm.
Riley was like, I feel like, it wasn't perfect, but I think we all messed up about the same. So Grant, you're in basically.
Yeah.
And we were like, yay. So that's kind of
That's how
the
everything.
longish version of the
Mm.
medium length version of how I
Mm.
joined the band. Yeah.
Well, you got a lot of determination, I guess, towards your music and career. You are a very tenacious guy. It's hard for you to stop doing what you like. You're gonna
There's
be.
never been a question in my mind as to what I want out of life.
Mm.
Um, I know a lot of people when they're in high school and the years after high school go through this phase of like discovering themselves. What do I want out of a career, out of relationships? What are my hobbies? What are my interests? For me, there was never a question. It's always been music, 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 music. All I want to do is play guitar, write songs, and perform as much as I possibly can. And
Mm.
every choice that I've made in my life, I've tried to make choices that work in harmony with my love of music.
Mm.
That everything, like my relationships, like marrying Kristen, she has a deep love of music, similar to me, and she
Mm.
understands my drive and my ambition as a musician and supports it. The career that I've chosen outside of music is a career path that gives me the freedom that I need to spend most of my time on music.
Mm.
And so, yeah, I mean, like, yes, I am driven, but I would say I'm just obsessed.
Yes,
I
you're.
like everything I ever do is with one singular goal,
But
and that is continuing my pursuit of music
but
lifelong.
are you looking for perfection in music? But it's not such a thing but it's
No,
something
I
that
wouldn't say
you wanna get
perfection.
close to it.
Yeah, I don't really think of it in terms of perfection. I think of it more in terms of I hear sounds in my head and
Mm.
I want to create those sounds. And music isn't to me about perfection, it's about artistic expression. And if I'm able to recreate the sounds in my head, that is artistically, if I'm able to recreate what I'm hearing in my head in a way that pleases me artistically, then I don't care how perfect or imperfect it is. That's
Okay.
the goal. If my artistic vision is satisfied, then I'm satisfied.
Mm. I'm thinking like a painting, but it's like you want to have all the colors available for you to choose from,
Yeah.
all the
Yep.
tools that
Yeah.
you can have. Uh,
Exactly. And
Yeah.
there's so many ways that you can go about that, like all the different instruments that you can learn, all the different tools
mm.
as a creator between recording programs and plugins. There's just so much. There's the music world is such a rich
Right.
life path, and there's so many rabbit holes you can go down and areas that you can become an expert in that all add more tools to that tool belt that you can use to create more art.
Mm. well, it's a very enjoyable album, I could say.
Well, thank you.
Falling together. I love those brilliant riffs, the guitar riffs.
Mm.
It's a brilliant work, I can say, because I like prog music, and I know fans of prog music. They are very into their music itself. They don't treat it as background music. They want to
Mm.
hear the drums, how technical the
Yeah.
musicians are, and the guitar work. It's not like people they just treat
There are very
music
few
like
genres out there where the listeners are as dedicated as the
yeah,
progressive rock world. It's a smaller world. Like,
yes,
granted, even if we make it to the top of the progressive rock world, we're probably still not going to make a ton of money doing it.
of
But the
course.
reason I love the progressive rock world is because it is such an involved and passionate community
Mm,
between the fans, the musicians, the venues that support it, the festivals. It's just a very it's just a very like passionate world, and I'm excited to be a part of that.
yeah, I really enjoy. Like I say, I enjoy your lyrics a lot, and you talk about many things, personal things, but also it's like listening to nature. I don't know how to say it, life itself.
Right.
Mm.
It's
Oh,
personal, but it's also about everything else. It's the world.
yeah.
Yeah.
So when do you write? Do you start with some kind of idea, a theme you want to talk about, or just a vocal melody that you start singing
So
something?
I usually will sit with an acoustic guitar, and I'm very visually inspired. I don't like writing here in my basement. I prefer to get out into nature, to go into the
Mm,
forest or go sit by a lake somewhere,
mm,
and just sit with an acoustic guitar and kind of let my mind or my ear guide me to whatever melody feels right in the moment. And
mm,
I try to first think about melody, and then once I have a melody that I like, I find a chord structure that complements that melody, and
okay.
that becomes the guitar and the vocals. And once I have that, I'll record a basic memo on my iPhone of it, and then I
Mm,
take that back to this room where I'm sitting right now, my studio, and I
mm,
turn it into a full production with electric guitar and drums and bass and keyboards and all the other stuff.
mm.
So yeah, it always starts with just acoustic guitar and a melody of some sort, though. I believe that's a pretty tried and true way to write good, infectious, memorable songs.
Okay. Do any of the other members write songs at all? Or I mean, write even no, nothing, not even.
Not
Yeah.
really. I mean, Riley, well,
Well, for Advent, no, but
yeah.
you guys, everybody except Mike writes music on
Yeah.
their own.
Okay.
Like you've had your whole, you've released an album and multiple singles of original material in different genres.
Yeah, two
Yeah.
different genres. I used to be like very much in the singer-songwriter area when I was like in my teens and early 20s. And
Mm,
then like pretty big influences of like Death Cab for Cutie and
mm,
like very indie and almost folk acoustic kind of vibes. And then I went more in the like kind of Rage Against the Machine
oh.
vibes, like kind of
Mm,
newer wave sort of heavy rock and like hip hop influence.
mm,
Um, but it took way too much energy out of me to do it and to like build that up as an artist. But I liked writing it and I liked producing it. It's a fun time and it taught me a lot of good things. And so
mm.
I try to bring those skills to Advent too, because like for our previous album in a Celtic Call Home,
Right.
um, like Riley had the demos, but then I came over because I actually have a bachelor's degree in digital audio, like audio engineering. So I came over and like helped him with like get the mix fleshed out and like set a lot of the templates. Like here's how the kick drum needs to sound, snare, here's how the guitars could sit. Here, let's do some compression EQ, all of these things. And then right from there, Riley finished mixing the album on our own. We had it professionally mastered
Mm.
by Jens Bogren in where does he live, Riley?
Sweden.
Sweden.
Oh,
Okay, that's what I
Sweden.
thought.
Okay.
In Sweden. And
Mm,
but yeah. So I'm a songwriter, but I think I don't bring kind of getting back to your question, like, does anybody else in the band write? Not for Advent, really. Riley writes. We all kind of take producer slash editor roles
mm,
to fine tune the music. and then we kind of go from there. And then in this previous album, or sorry, I keep saying this previous album, our current album, Falling Together, was
Yes.
mixed by Zach Borman in Cold House Studios in Provo, Utah. That's about an hour south of Salt Lake City.
Mm,
And Zach did an amazing job of like leveling up our sound, adding a lot of like ethereal stuff. He's got a whole bunch of really cool like analog synths and stuff in his studio. So
mm,
we kind of, that's like the second half of what Riley was saying with the
mm,
approach to writing our stuff.
mm. So Riley, before I forget, when you do, I enjoyed your lyrics. So I guess when you write, it's writing about yourself. I guess it opens some like doors for you for also healing. But I also think that when you write, does it cause you like some kind of distress when you write? I don't know how to. I don't know if that's a way
No,
of saying it.
I know what
So
you
like, what's the
mean.
emotional process of
Yeah,
writing,
it's
right?
like,
Well,
or maybe I
so
shouldn't write about this. Maybe I should keep this quiet. I don't
well,
mean quiet.
I think for everybody, it's a pretty universal human feeling to that processing emotions sometimes is a painful thing on some
Mm,
level. And you have to dig into your feelings and your experiences, the good experiences and bad experiences that you've had in your life, in order to process the way that you feel about things. And some people do that internally. Some people do that socially with by
yeah.
talking to those that they love in their relationships. For me, the way that I do that is through music. I've never been a very outwardly emotional person in my interactions with others in my life, but that
Mm,
doesn't mean that I don't feel things. I do.
right.
I just find it natural for me to let those feelings out and to process those feelings through the music that I write.
Mm. Does it cause
Um,
you like enjoyment when you do it or not at
yeah,
all?
I would say it is healing. It can be sometimes when you're writing a song, you feel incredible emotion in the moment that you're writing that song. And sometimes that can be a little bit distressing, but the process of writing it and getting those feelings out is a beautiful thing. And in the end, it's a healing experience and it feels really good. And so now listening back to the songs on this album, I wouldn't say these songs were necessarily painful to me to write. It's more just like processing my experiences in life.
Right.
But listening back to them, it's it's almost like, okay, I've processed all these feelings. Here's all these feelings. I can now take them out of my head, set them over here in this album that I spent writing them. And now I can move on with my life and figure out what is the next chapter. What are the next things that I need to process?
Right.
That it's like it's opened up space in my mind for me to think about what's next.
Okay.
So yeah, it's been good. It's been healing overall.
Mm. I have a question that I ask a lot sometimes some other musicians, but can you, if you're feeling like a really happy,
Mhm.
uh, a joyful day, can you still write a sad song?
Mm.
Um, that's a really good question. I do think that uh, music for me comes out much easier when I'm feeling negative emotion than positive emotion. But that
Okay.
doesn't mean that I don't have times where positive emotion can create songs. So, actually, a prime example of this is the last song on this album, Animals,
Okay.
which you haven't heard yet,
Right.
but you will hear here in August.
Mm.
Um, Animals is a beautiful song, and that was written in a moment where I was processing kind of my gratitude for life and
Mm.
for the opportunity that we've all been given to experience the beauty of this world, and
Okay.
that we have a finite time on this planet. All of us will die, all of us will pass away, all of us will experience our loved ones, getting old and passing away too. There is death all around us,
Right.
but the fact that our time on this planet is limited is almost a gift, because it encourages us to
Yeah.
get out and experience everything that we possibly can. Don't take the world for granted.
Right.
And I was feeling just this like really strong sense of connection with the world and this desire to explore and to live life to the fullest. And
Right.
those feelings are what created that song.
That's beautiful.
Mm.
Mm. Like for me, I don't know what's at the end. I don't. To tell you the truth, I don't believe there's anything over there, but whatever. But while you're here, you should try to be a good person. That's what I always think,
Right.
because you don't have another chance. I don't think there is another chance to be a better person. So might as well just be nice with everybody else. Don't be an asshole, because it's only one life you're gonna live. Why being an asshole? Leave it for I don't know.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
that really is what it all comes down to, isn't it? Like
Yes.
regardless of your religious beliefs or
Yeah.
whatever, really at the end of the day, just don't be an asshole, and
Right.
we'll all live a happy existence.
Yes. Just make everybody happy.
I used to live with some roommates, and we had a little picture of Jesus, the Catholic Jesus holding his hand up, and
Yeah.
underneath it just said, "Don't be an asshole."
Nice.
Well,
Yep.
talking about religion is for me it drives me nuts, because I know a lot of stories about religion, about
Yeah,
Christians and Catholic priests and monks and stuff. I know a lot about things happening that happened during those old times, but I'm not
yeah,
going to
yeah.
talk about that stuff. But it's just be nice. That's all I'm saying.
Just
Yeah,
Especially
exactly. Just
now nowadays, especially
yeah,
why are you fighting? What are you fighting about? You're gonna be dead, and maybe tomorrow there's gonna be a truck is gonna run over you, and everything you plan and you did bad is gonna just disappear. So why you
yeah,
being a bad guy?
yeah,
Just try to be your best if you can.
yeah.
But there's so many things we can talk about, and it's always already an hour, and we haven't talked about much, to tell you the truth.
well, it's been a good natural conversation though.
Yeah,
It's
I was
Yeah.
going to
you
ask you
know.
regarding your partner, Kristen.
Mhm.
Did she change anything in your personality, of the way you write or the way you think? Has he played any roles in your music adventure? I don't know how to say it, but go
Yeah,
ahead.
I so Kristen has been just incredible for me as a human being,
Hmm.
because I tend to be naturally a very self-centered person.
Hmm.
I have my ambitions that I want out of life, and I tend to kind of just like barrel on with whatever my plans are without taking into consideration those around me.
Hmm.
And that's something that Kristen has kind of forced me to be aware of and to try to, one, correct and tone that down. But two, she's really taught me to feel empathy towards others and to think in every choice that I make, how does
Hmm.
this choice affect those that I love and those that are surrounding me?
Hmm.
And that being able to come from a place of empathy is in a big part, I think, what allowed me to process my feelings on religion and
Hmm.
organized religion and its place in our world, in society.
Hmm.
Because looking and realizing the people who are in positions of power, whether it be religious positions of power, political positions of power, careers, whatever, so often take that power and use it for their own purposes, and it affects those around them negatively.
Hmm.
Having analyzing that and trying to have empathy for those who are affected by the decisions of people in power was almost this weird like parallel of analyzing my own life and the way that the decisions that I make affect those around me. It like all of this kind of like came together in my head as I was writing this album. So
Hmm.
yes, Kristen has been hugely influential to me. She's an incredible person. She is probably the most honest person I have ever met in my life. She is incapable of lying or
Hmm.
exaggerating, to a fault sometimes, but it's really an amazing thing. And I have tried to be more like her
Okay.
wherever I can in that way.
That's beautiful. What you're saying, I guess you have a lot of love for her. And let's say,
I do.
yes, you sound like there are a lot of things that we could talk about. We could talk about the other bands, the cover bands, the cover music you make. We could talk about AI and how you feel about it. We can talk
Oh
about so
man, that's
many
a
things.
2 hour conversation on
You
its
know,
own.
it's not going anywhere. AI, it's not going anywhere.
Mhm.
You
Nope.
gotta
True.
coexist, I guess, with it
Yep.
Yeah.
somehow. We can talk about other bands. There's so much stuff. You guys probably have other professional careers that you are, besides doing music and stuff, that keep you busy. Uh, Music, I guess, is your main thing, but sometimes you have to do other things that you may not like, or maybe you enjoy also. I don't know.
Yeah.
So there are a lot of things that we could talk
Yeah.
about. I don't want to make it too long, but
No,
we,
Yeah,
we
I
can
do have to go. I do have
yeah.
to
So
go
I
here in a
have the
minute.
feeling that, we could talk
Yeah.
maybe another time about other
yeah, I
things,
yeah,
you
I'd
know.
love to. Let's keep in touch and let's do another podcast at some point. I'm
Yeah.
sure there's plenty of other things we can get into. It's
There
been
are
awesome
plenty of
talking to
things,
you. So
plenty of things. I just want to
Yeah.
tell my viewers and listeners to check this band out, Advent Horizon. Maybe some of them already know them. I had no idea who they
Mhm.
were, but it's a
Let
good
us know
thing
in the
that I
comments.
came across them just like that usually happens. Who are these people? I don't know. Advent Horizon. Let me click. And then you go onto YouTube. They got so many videos about all the songs in the album. I think they're there. They did Prog Stock. Is it Prog Stock? Is that how you say Prog
Yeah,
Stock?
Prog
Yeah.
stock.
They played in
Yep.
Jersey. I missed them. They never let me know that they were here. So it's impossible.
Next
I'm
time.
sure we'll play Prog Stock again at some point in the near
So,
future. So,
so
maybe
there's
maybe a year or two from now, we'll have a chance to see you out there again.
okay.
And
This time I'll go.
there are more festivals on the horizon
Horizon.
for us. I can't say what they are yet because none of them are officially announced.
Okay.
But there are a few festivals that we'll be playing next year,
Okay.
both in North America and it's looking like in Europe as well.
Oh, that
So
would be great.
for anybody who's watching this and who is willing to take a chance on our music, we really appreciate it, and
Yeah.
we hope that we can get out and play in person for you and meet you all wherever you are.
They
And
look like nice
for
people
too
to
long.
me. They look like nice people. They're not threatening at all.
I hope not.
That's
Well,
good.
go to adventhorizonmusic.com, and from there you can do a lot of things. Click everywhere you see something to do. They got a bunch of stuff there. Go to Bandcamp. I guess you can buy their everything, this discography
Yep.
over there.
Mhm.
You can follow them on Instagram. The usual things. You type Advent Horizon, Google it, or whatever you want to do,
Mhm.
and you'll find them. You see this guy, this other guy. You see Grant. You see Riley McDonald, and then you see Kristen, and you see his other friend Mike. So they look like great people, and they make fantastic music.
Yeah.
Music that I love. You guys, you know that I got good taste in music. So
It seems like you do from this conversation.
yes, we can talk about
Definitely.
Steve Hillage. We can talk about blues, anything. I'm up to everything.
Let's do it.
But
Right
now
on.
I'm into Advent Horizon, so that's what I'm listening lately. And it's
Right
gonna
on.
be a while before I change. So
I love that. Well,
just
thank
letting you
you.
guys know, please follow them, listen to their music, and let me know if you like them. If you hate them, don't even bother talking to me. Okay?
You can tell
Thank
us
you,
if
Jose.
you hate
Yeah,
us. Just
let
don't tell
Riley
JR.
know or let Grant know that anything, but don't let me know. So
All right.
see you guys next week. Nothing better than this. And my next interview is gonna be much better. We're gonna talk about other stuff. So
Right on. Right
wait
on.
for that one also.
Okay.
Thank you so much, guys. I appreciate it, and
Thank you.
we'll talk again soon,
We'll
hopefully.
talk soon.
Thank you
Thanks.
so much.
Thank you,
All right.
Riley,
Yeah, thank you.
and thank you, Grant.
Thanks.
Absolutely. Have a great
See
night,
you.
man.
Until
Talk
Take
to
next
you later.
care.
time.
Love. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.